Hey everyone, let's jump right in. We have a really exciting explainer lined up today. We're exploring the final stage of this incredible creative journey, Brushstroke 7, bringing your song to life with AI. Specifically, we're looking at something so relevant right now, how to partner with artificial intelligence to create music without losing your authentic human voice. We're going to see exactly how you can take the raw, honest materials of your life, your experiences, your prayers, your journal entries, and actually use AI as an instrument to amplify your unique story rather than replace it. So let's just address the elephant in the room, asking the exact question that's probably on your mind right now. Can AI write a song with soul? We hear so much about AI generating text, art, and music, and there's a totally valid fear out there that injecting a machine into the songwriting process just strips away the human emotion. But the framework we're unpacking in this explainer solves this exact problem. It flips the whole narrative. It shows us how to use AI not to bypass the soul, but to actually give our soul a much wider canvas. All right, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Heart before technology. 2. The AI songwriting myth. 3. The 6-step process. And 4. Share your story. Starting with Section 1, Heart before technology. This right here is the absolute foundation. If we skip this, the rest of the process simply will not work, because every powerful creative journey literally has to start with your own human experiences. Before you open a single app or a piece of software, you have to do the quiet, deeply personal work of discovering your message. And I want to slow down for a second so we can really absorb the weight of this quote from the source material. The heart always comes first. Technology simply helps express it. Think about that. AI can generate a melody, it can figure out the chords, it can even make words rhyme perfectly, but it cannot live your experiences. It doesn't know your prayers, it hasn't celebrated your victories or carried your specific burdens. Only you have lived your story. So the human heart absolutely has to be the engine driving this entire thing. Moving right along to Section 2, the AI songwriting myth. There is this massive myth out there that AI is basically just a magic button. People kind of assume you just type one sentence into a prompt and poof, a deeply meaningful song pops out. But as our source points out, that is just not how truly meaningful songs get made. The reality is that AI is an instrument. It's an instrument that accelerates your creative process. It doesn't replace the songwriter, it amplifies them. Every single important emotional and artistic decision, that still belongs entirely to you. So the real key is how we actually define AI's role in all this. The source material uses this fantastic phrase, creative companion. You really shouldn't treat AI like some ghostwriter that you just hand the project off to. Instead, you treat it as a collaborative brainstorming partner. AI is unbelievable at helping you organize scattered thoughts. It can ask you questions you hadn't even considered, or flag areas where your lyrics might be a bit confusing. But always remember, AI assists, you create. Now for the really practical part. Section 3, the 6-step process. Here is the actual 6-step soul canvas process for bringing your song to life. It goes chronologically: conversation, building together, refining, style prompts, generating using platforms like Suno, and finally, producing. Let's walk through exactly how this looks in practice. It all kicks off with steps 1 and 2. Before you even look at a music generation platform, you start a conversation with a text-based AI. Think ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. But here's the trick. You don't just say, write me a song. Instead, you share your raw thoughts. You paste in a journal entry, maybe a piece of scripture, or just talk about what happened to you that day. Then you lead the conversation. You ask the AI, hey, what themes are you noticing here? What emotions are popping out? Once that message starts getting clear, you build the lyrics together. You write a verse, you ask for alternatives, you combine the best bits, or you just completely reject every single suggestion it gives you. And actually, that's perfectly normal, because the goal isn't to just accept everything. The goal is to think creatively together. And that flows right into step 3, refining. Now, this is where a lot of creators stop way too soon. The first version almost never becomes the final version. You really have to read the lyrics out loud to yourself. You have to ask yourself this one absolutely essential question. Does this feel authentic? Like, does it actually sound like you? Would you proudly attach your name to these words? If the answer is anything less than a definitive yes, you keep refining. You trim a verse, you punch up the hook, you cut the filler words. You refine it until it feels completely true to your story. When we finally get to introducing the music in step 4, this brilliantly illustrates the difference between amateur and professional prompting. The missed opportunity is typing something basic like create a Christian pop song. That just names a genre. The way better approach is writing an emotional prompt. Just listen to the difference here. Warm, intimate, inspirational ballad featuring expressive, mature male vocals, gentle piano, subtle strings, soft percussion, and a gradual emotional build. See? You're describing way more than a genre. You are describing exactly how you want the listener to feel. Simply put, the better your vision, the better your results. So for step 5, you take those beautifully refined lyrics and that detailed emotional style prompt, and you paste them into a music generation tool like Suno. You hit generate. But listen, never expect perfection on that very first try. You've got to listen carefully, take some notes. Can you clearly hear every single word? Does the vocal actually fit the vibe of the message? If something feels off, you iterate. Like the source material points out, even tiny tweaks to your prompt can give you surprisingly different results. It's an iterative process of dialing in the style, the tempo, and the energy until the music perfectly supports your words. Once you've got that music generated in step 6, you go through a massive identity shift. You aren't just a songwriter anymore. You are becoming a producer. The producer leads, the technology follows, which means you now have to start making really intentional decisions to serve the story. You ask yourself, should the intro be shorter? Does the chorus need to hit sooner? Would pulling an instrument out actually make the message land harder? Production isn't just cramming every moment full of sound, it's about making every single moment meaningful for the person listening. And that brings us to our final section. Section 4, share your story. Look, creating the song is really only half the journey. The whole purpose behind all this creative heavy lifting is what you actually do with the song once it's done. Our source material gives us this beautiful reminder. People don't simply connect with songs, they connect with people. The ultimate goal here isn't just to make a cool-sounding track and randomly post it online, it's to share your story in a way that might heal, comfort, or encourage another human being. That means taking the time to create thoughtful cover art, writing a description that invites the listener into the story behind the song, and sharing the actual journey. You are putting a literal piece of your heart out into the world. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Before you hit publish, before you call any project finished, ask yourself, does this song honestly represent my heart? If you've used AI as a companion instead of a crutch, if you've really prioritized your personal truth, and if you've done the hard work of refining it, the answer is going to be yes. Technology is always going to change. Platforms will come and go. But authentic stories, they have always connected people. Your story matters. And somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear the exact song that only you can write.